So this video I'm going to introduce Drupal, which is a CMS which is great for larger sites. It's also, yeah, it's pretty good for smaller sites now. They've improved the user interface quite a lot to make things easier for everyone, for first time users especially. So I would say smaller websites as well now. What's a content management system? Well, the biggest example I can think of is probably WordPress. Everybody has heard of WordPress. It's been around for a long time. So if you want something different, you also want something scalable, definitely go for Drupal. You know, just literally give it a shot. You can download it. It costs nothing because Drupal is open source, of course. So where did this weird name come from? You know, it's not like a nice WordPress or Weebly or Wix. It's none of them. It's actually, yeah, it's Drupal, and actually it was a mistake. So the person who originally made this made a mistake and bought the wrong domain name, but he kept the name because he thought it sounded better. Well, I would have said, hey, he made a good decision actually making that mistake, because it does sound a lot better. Are there any sites that are built up with Drupal or have been built with Drupal? You know, if you go back a little bit, the White House was using Drupal a little bit back. Harvard, I think, still uses it. You've also got things like Nokia. They definitely still use Drupal. You've got Oxford University, one of the most famous universities in the world in England. You've got NASA, and NASA is really big. And Red Hat Linux, believe it or not, they use Drupal as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of big sites that still use it. It accounts for around about 4% usage. WordPress, obviously the leader there, but Drupal, it's a little bit more heavy, but it's getting so much easier for everyone, you know, to give it a try, basically. So why would you choose Drupal as a CMS or to build your website off? First of all, I would say because it's open source. Open software is great because nobody owns the code. Anyone can alter the code. Anyone can put what they want in the code. That, you know, you haven't got this bit of code that you just can't change it and you alter it and then you have to get permission to do this. No, none of that. It's totally open source. Brilliant. Second reason is that Drupal is mobile friendly. Yeah, brilliant for your website, brilliant for SEO. Google loves mobile friendly. So do your customers actually, so they love being able to see your website on mobile as well. So yeah, there's a good second reason. The third reason, the modules are free. So when I say modules, a lot of people will not know what a module is, but it is like a plugin on WordPress. You will know if you are a big WordPress fan that you get some plugins free, some cost. In Drupal that doesn't happen. All the plugins are free. You don't pay for any. Or certainly, I don't think I've ever seen any, but there is a lot of them. There is absolutely thousands, which if I go in here, for example, modules, we'll get a kind of count hopefully at the top here. There you go, 47,944 modules. Modules, just like plugins. Whatever you're looking to do, somebody's already probably done it and created it for you. That's something really amazing with Drupal. The next one is that the themes are free. There is paid themes as well. Not as big as WordPress, but there is a lot of free themes on actual Drupal itself, which is this part here. You can actually take whole downloads of themes which are already created for you, and you can put them up. There's another good reason if you're a dev. You got Bootstrap. It's not quite as popular now, but works well with Drupal. And you can basically say we've got lots and lots and lots of themes that yeah, I'd be here forever if I was good. You've got 3,000 themes there. Now you've got the paid ones. They're, so another great reason. I would say number 6, that Drupal is highly scalable. Yeah, WordPress is quite good for big sites, but if you want a really scale website and you're going to have really heavy traffic, then you probably want to start with Drupal. If you're a really early startup and you're going to have a big website, maybe not, but if you definitely know you're going to have a big website, just go with Drupal. It can really handle the really heavy traffic. It is, so yeah, that's some of the stuff with Drupal. We did the themes. Is there anything else I would add? Probably yes, and this is really important, is that I would say the last point with Drupal is the community. The community portal is brilliant, and the forum. Because the forum, if you have questions, doesn't matter how basic they are, somebody is going to answer you back, basically. This is what I found on Drupal, the community, and what you tend to find is all the people who answer back are devs, which is, it's brilliant, so that's, it doesn't take forever to get things answered, and then you've got all the guides, obviously, as well, that people have put up. Drupal has guides for all the different bits and pieces, and they're very well wrote. So, if you're going to do an e-commerce site, Drupal's very good for smaller ones. Larger ones, maybe not so much, but service websites, print shop, anything similar to that kind of service. Restaurants, good examples, some really good themes out there for restaurants. For example, this is with Drupal. And it's free, by the way, which is great. You've got news websites, magazine websites, schools and universities, obviously, and also banking's quite a big user of Drupal. So, lots of reasons to try it. Lots of big names using it. Why don't you get Drupal and, go give it a try. It costs nothing. Put it up on your server. I'll get your dev to put it up on the server. Have a play about with it. See what you think of it. Give it a try. How do you get Drupal and basic costings? So today's video is all about Drupal. Is it for you? Is it, who would I recommend it for? Or what would Drupal maybe recommend? So, if you've been in development for a while and you're sick of paying for WordPress plugins, Drupal's great. None of the plugins, so far as I know, actually are paid. So it's a big difference to some people, big change. Or if you think you're going to have a bigger website and it's going to have lots of traffic, then I would straight away just jump to Drupal anyway. The other people I could maybe look to go to Drupal is anyone who's techie and knows a little bit HTML, a little bit CSS. Yeah, then guys, you're going to get Drupal as well. And yes, there's also yourself. If you've got a business and you want to try doing a website yourself, hey, go for it. Go for Drupal. It's not as complicated as it looks, and it's free. Yeah, that's the best part. Drupal does not cost you anything. That doesn't mean it's completely free, but the actual Drupal itself is open source. So when we're thinking of having a Drupal website, there's there's lots of different directions we can go. If we wanted, say, just to get let's go to freelance market first. If you go to freelance market, you've got developers anywhere from $20 to $80 an hour. But then you've got the lower down Upwork would be a great example for them kind of prices. And your bottom guys probably start about $25 an hour. Now there's something called Fiverr as well, and they can install a theme for you, get you going and started. There won't be many bells and whistles, but you know, it'll cost you about £150, which is really not that much money. The other way you can do it, set up themes. But I suppose we've got to talk about bigger companies, so probably the cheapest that I've seen to get an agency, let's say get an agency in and get an agency to build your website, you're talking about probably for a little business and not too many pages, you could probably get away with $2,000 for a very basic company. That's if you're using an agency, of course. Freelancers are a lot cheaper. And yeah, also you could do it yourself and then maybe get a developer in later. I mean, that's always an option. That sticks you in the heavy end, by the way. But what other costs have we got? So we know that this part's free, so the Drupal, so the system costs us nothing. It's total. There's no cost at all. But what you should be aware of is hosting. If you take a Drupal website and put it onto WordPress hosting, it's probably going to die very quickly, or the systems, people are going to get a little bit annoyed with you. It costs a little bit more. Drupal uses a bit more resources up than WordPress. So you definitely want to come here, look up Drupal hosting and just pick someone who specializes in Drupal hosting. DreamHost, for example, you see that wouldn't be too good because what can we say? There's no Drupal. There we got Drupal host and Drupal support. There you go. HostGator, for example. I don't know if HostGator does Drupal. Let's have a look. You definitely wouldn't want to go, VPS hosting, but you want it managed. If you're going to do Drupal and you're going to do everything yourself, I would definitely recommend VPS hosting because it's got a little bit more power. You've got a little bit more RAM to play with. You can make it work quicker. And if you're going to do, say, an advanced website anyway, you're probably going to want VPS anyway to get access to the more advanced functionality of Drupal, such as Drush and things like that. So you're going to need a little bit of back-end access. And so you'd go for VPS. It costs anywhere from, I would say, $5 if you go on bottom end. If you've got a developer, he's got everything for you, he's just going to upload your site for you. Yeah, you'll get away with your $5 hosting. If that's not the case and you're going to play around a lot and you're uploading things and downloading things and changing things, putting lots of modules in, then you want to head to VPS. VPS, there's something important there with the VPS. Make sure you choose manage, because otherwise it's a nightmare. It's very, very, very difficult if you just if you try and do manage it yourself. So you look for, I'll just quickly type it in here just so you can see. So VPS hosting. Oh, there you go. Bad spelling with me, and you can see. But you want to put also, you want to do the managed VPS hosting. Slightly more expensive, but you'll get a much quicker website. Right, so two last things. So we've got the Drupal, we've got our hosting, we've either got a $5 one, or we've got our 20. And here's the trick. What you can do is with Drupal, just like WordPress, you've probably seen it before, you can go to people like this, such as More Than Themes, that they do free themes as well. This is the great thing about these guys. You can actually take these and then upload them. You know, you could get your developer to upload this maybe. You know, so you're getting a theme, you've got a whole website, and then it's up to you to put your logo, etc. in. And then there you go, it's took your cost right down. You've also got Drupal. That's another, these guys, this is where I started many years ago with one of their themes, so I thought I'd give these guys a mention. And it looks like, yeah, they actually do websites, business websites for $499. So Drupal, yep, you can get the themes from there, and you can upload them. And one last place, we've got the Drupal themes, which I would show you, but you've also got Drupal yourself. And what you can do here is, and this is what a lot of people won't know, is that you've got distributions. So a distribution is basically what you see is what you get. And you'd probably, yeah, this is another very last point. You probably want to go with either Drupal 7 or Drupal 8. That is just because if you go earlier than that, there isn't any support. Drupal 7's pretty much out, so really I would say Drupal 8. You would come in here, distributions, and there you go. These are full websites ready to go. All different things going on here, all different designs. You download this, you upload this on your VPS, there you go, you're going. Or finally, very finally, is the themes. If we go here, you can upload Drupal yourself, which is free. Then put a theme in, or get a developer to put the theme in. It's going to cost you about $150 maybe. You'll set it all up for you. You choose the theme, you tell them which one to use. But there you go. It's a lot cheaper than if you go to an agency. If you go to an agency, it's going to cost you a lot more money. Right, hope this video was helpful, and we'll talk to you soon. When to use WordPress and when to use Drupal. So Drupal, it's great CMS, so is WordPress. They're both very famous. So let's start with the easiest. And I would say that if you want a website where you don't have to host it, you don't have to look after the hosting company, etc., you don't have to pay all that, then WordPress, yeah, they've got a solution for that. Go on pricing plan, they'll give you a WordPress site, you add a theme, you add a plugin. Pretty easy, but of course you can't always do what you want with that. So yeah, that brings its own set of like problems for later for you. So something easy, but that's not as scalable. That's probably what I'd add to that part. If you want to now host the website yourself on a hosting package, then both Drupal and WordPress do it. So you can use either for that. Why else, if you want a very easy website and you don't want to do too much customization, and you want something pretty much out of the box, really easy to learn, then also I would go with WordPress for that one. Now, that would be the same as if you wanted, say, e-commerce. If you want e-commerce out the box and it kind of works and you don't have that much customization, again, you're gonna go to WordPress for that. If you, another one here is if you want a really small website, again, 30-40 pages, WordPress is ideal for that, but customization, not so much. So yeah, there's always, as I keep mentioning, you've always got negatives and positives. If you would also, also if you didn't, if you imagine that the site's never going to get bigger than 40-50 pages, then again you probably want to stay with WordPress. That's also if you've got pretty much the same type of content. But then when we swap over and we say, right, that's brilliant, but most of them above isn't what I'm looking for, then you probably want to go to Drupal. So let's turn this around a little bit. So now, let's say you wanted a e-commerce website and you wanted the e-commerce site to have custom forms and custom products and really hard stuff. Well, not really hard, but really different stuff with products, and you want to customize everything. Then Drupal, I'm going to say Drupal Commerce, which is still Drupal. It's under the hood. A bit like WooCommerce is for WordPress. Then I would probably go with Drupal. If you wanted something like AMP, accelerated mobile pages, I would probably go with WordPress because it's better supported. That doesn't mean it's not supported on Drupal. There's a little bit more playing about. So yeah, WordPress seems to be the one that you'd go to if you want everything really easy. But Drupal is always when you want to, you're going to have more than 40 pages. Let's go with another one where we've got, let's say we got 4 different content types. We want videos, we want blogs, we want to do live workshops, maybe we want to do some webinars, and each one of them has a category in its own content type, and you want to display it all nicely. Then Drupal definitely does this really well. It's the same as the e-commerce. Another great thing Drupal does is admin. It has there's just so many little ticky boxes for users, and you can admin just about everything with Drupal. There's basically a ticky, so again, if you're going to have lots of users logging in, logging out, doing different stuff, then Drupal's really good for that as well. Another reason maybe I would use Drupal as well, this is definitely a pro for Drupal, is if you don't want to have to spend money on plugins. Drupal doesn't really have that kind of freemium that WordPress has, where you get a kind of plugin that kind of works and then you have to pay some money. That doesn't happen in Drupal, and that's one of the amazing things when I because I switched from WordPress to Drupal. Drupal, obviously, we have modules, but modules, yeah, you don't get this freemium. It's like, it's there, you install it, that's it, and it's absolutely brilliant. So next, if you wanted to have something that's really stable and you want to, let's say you want to build to, I don't know, 600 pages, 700 pages, even more, Drupal's going to be able to manage that content. It's going to be able to manage the users coming in. It's really, really good for that as well. So that, I would say, is the one last thing, actually, just one more thing, and that is the support. The Drupal community is absolutely brilliant. Most of the people in the community, I would say, aren't the website owners, but I would say there were more developers. So when you have the support and you do get it, it is, I would say, it's a lot better. I've definitely found that, and that would be the last thing that I would add into this video. Thank you for listening. Is Drupal hosting such a big deal, really? I mean, can you just use anything for Drupal? Any old hosting? Like your $1.99 deals or your $2 deals? Not really. And there's a few reasons for this. You pay for what you get, and Drupal's a lot more hardy than it is WordPress. It probably uses more resources as well. So you can't really use your really cheap hosting for two good reasons. Number one is, with the cheap hosting, you'll not be able to install Drush or use it. This is the Drupal command line, and yeah, it's very useful having it, and yeah, if you have your cheap hosting, you're not going to get access to SSH, so you're not going to get access to that. Also, Drush. Now, yeah, you can update Drupal with Drush, and all the modules, actually, you can update with Drush. But only if you've got access to it, and you've got access to SSH. So, if you ain't got that, you're not going to get access to the big boys' toys, basically. And what developers use a lot. Certainly with the bigger themes, the self-installs, you need to be using Composer. So if you haven't got Composer, you'll not be able to put the big themes. Restaurant is a really good one. It's a really good theme, and it's really good for restaurants, and basically you need Composer to install it, otherwise it just will not work. This is also true for other themes. I came across this as well. So it's not just that Restaurant Plus. Now, if you're not going to go that direction, what you could do is you could do maybe managed VPS. And yeah, a managed VPS is a little bit more expensive, but you've got access to SSH, you've got plenty of processing power, and you've got plenty of memory. In saying that, there is sites that do support Drupal, and they're not that expensive to start with. It's probably worth noting that when you're starting, you want to start with the littler guys, and then as your site gets bigger, then you want to move it to the bigger guys. So I just basically put some sites together here for you to check out, and some that I recommend as well. I'll mention the one that I use just to make the video really transparent. So SiteGround's pretty famous, and it's not that expensive, you know, $7.49 a month is not bad. In dollars, that's probably, what, $6, $7. It's still a little bit more expensive than your like your $2.99 and your $3.99. I wouldn't go at the bottom one because 10 gig really isn't much space for a Drupal website. You might just get away with the $4.99 a month. You got Bluehost, they got 221. Again, you don't want to go for the cheapest. You've got shared hosting, and I'm pretty sure that the support, you can always chat with them. And they've got still got a Pro there at £10.47. Just do a quick I'll just put this into dollars for everyone. Just $14, which isn't bad. Again, I wouldn't be going with the cheap ones. If that didn't work, or you always chat with these guys before you go ahead and buy. You look up to the hosting, and they've got something here called VPS hosting. Now, I think I've mentioned this before, but this is probably where you want to be going. You see now you've got 2 cores, you've got dedicated RAM, you're going to need that, and you're going to need that storage. But of course, have a chat with them. Move on to the next one. So we've got these guys, which is A2 hosting. Again, don't go with the cheap one because you're just going to kill your website basically with Drupal. It starts at $6.99. I wouldn't go on the cheap two because what you'd have to, they're actually recommended on the Drupal site as well, so it's quite interesting. This is the same with Bluehost. But you want to have a chat with them anyway before you went and bought the $6.99 a month. And just say to them, look, can I install Drush and can I install Composer on this hosting? Like, yeah, I can't emphasize that enough to people just to ask this out because it saves a lot of headache for you. These were also on the Drupal website. $8.98, I would say again. 3 gig RAM, you're getting lots of RAM there. cPanel, etc, etc. So, name hero there. WHUK, if you are based in the UK, this is the guys that I've used, and I've used them for a long time. I don't have what most people call hosting. I actually do the VPS, which I can't quite see here. There's web hosting there. They've got VPS somewhere here. We go down to the bottom maybe. Ah, there it is. VPS, this is what I use. Brilliant. I'm in the UK. If you're not in the UK, I wouldn't suggest it because Google likes domains to be in the country of origin. But you can see the price isn't too bad. It's $12.99 a month, which is still a little bit more expensive than your $2.99s and your $3.99s, etc. But these guys, brilliant. Now then, so that's VPS, that's your little website. So let's say now that you have a much bigger website, and yeah, these little guys, just little guys with the smaller packages, you just can't get the horsepower out, you can't get the horse to go quick enough, so to say. So what you do then is you move over to the big guys. Now the big guys, the prices go up quite a bit, but most of these websites are pretty much dedicated to Drupal. They're not cheap, but if you've got a bigger application, you've got lots of people coming to your website, definitely move to the bigger guys. So first one I would say is Pathlon. Again, it's probably, it'll be near the $120 mark, I would imagine. This is per month, but They are brilliant. There's plans, there's pricing. Let's see if we can get a price here. It just, oh, there we go. So basic, well, there you go, actually. It looks like you get, for local businesses, small blogs and static, $41 a month. Expensive, but yeah, one-click co-update. I don't know if you ever tried updating Drupal. It can be a bit of a pain. You only have to watch out with them guys, of course, as your 25k monthly cap visit. 99% uptime, which you would imagine. If you burn through that, then you move into the pretty big websites. And that's $160 a month. After that, I got Aquaria, which are, again, these are really expensive, but you know, if your site's getting bigger, you know, it's got more traffic, this is where you move into basically. So this is like your stage up. It's $141, 25 gig storage. But again, these guys are dedicated around Drupal. They're not WordPress as such. You know, you'll see a lot of people with WordPress dedicated. These aren't. These are more Drupal dedicated. Really big site, and they'll deliver some of the biggest websites in the world. Along with Pathlon, of course, as well. They'll be doing some of the biggest Drupal websites in the world. After that, probably a newer player, I would say, which is Platform SH. They tend to, yeah, they're a little bit cheaper. As you say, I did a quick check on the article, and it tells you like their tiers, but it's still, look, it's $135. But if you're there, you need that dedicated hosting. And you don't want to move to either. We could a dedicated server if you want to go instead of dedicated server. This is where you come first. Once you passed all these, in which case you pass all that, then you'd go to your dedicated server. What would I say about dedicated server? Make sure it's managed. If it's not managed, you'll find it very hard. It's very, very difficult. The same as if you go up to VPS. You could go up to VPS technically with all these before you come to the big plans. But again, make sure it's managed, because unless you're an absolute IT expert, you will really struggle with VPS or the big servers themselves. Thanks for watching. So in the last video I told you about what you needed and you know what to use for Drupal, what kind of hosting, and I may have mentioned, I think I did mention, but try and get cPanel with your hosting, because it's going to make it so easy to install. There is other ways of installing it. You can print up to the server and then you can ungzip the actual zip. You can use things to install it from the console, obviously, but I like to do the good old-fashioned way and upload it to the server. And on the server we got cPanel, and that's probably the easiest way. So first you need to go over here, try Drupal, download your zip. Now once you get your zip, like I have here, you need to take your zip and then put it into a folder like this. So unzip your zip, and then once you've done that, you can then upload these basically. So I'll just quickly show you how I did that. So This is from the zip and into its own little folder. I've took it out with Drupal. I didn't leave the Drupal 9 because I don't really want Drupal 9 at the front of the URL. So that's it there. It was all unzipped and it's in there. So now we went over to FileZilla. This is free download, by the way. FileZilla as well is free. And you hook it up to your hosting. Go here, File, Site Manager, and put in your FTP details, etc. If you don't know what that is, I'll quickly show you. This is cPanel, and you've got your FTP accounts. So you would create a FTP account, login, password. Obviously, make your password quite long. This was just made for a demo to show you how to do this. You can see I've got myself there, and I put it into here. So I got FileZilla and marked it to public.html. That's so it's at the bottom of the directory, everyone. You know, if you don't put public, you'll have it in a subdirectory. You could call it whatever you wanted. Let's say you wanted maybe Drupal website or Drupal blog, then you put Drupal in here first, then you create a folder in public HTML called blog, and then you could have, now you've got a website and a blog if you wanted to do that. You know, that's not too hard, but this is basically what it should look like once you have put it up. It takes around 30-40 minutes, maybe quicker, maybe slow, just depends on your hosting. So that was that part. So let's now move over to installing it. So all of them are up there, and yeah, it wasn't working, and that's because it wasn't all up. Or I'm going to click the reload now because it is all up there. What's important here as well, you actually do this overnight. Some people do. If you leave it overnight, you'll probably have a few failed transfers. Just reset them, and then you just process the queue. And so that's if you leave it overnight. Or you always get a few failed transfers. Just re-queue them, and it'll put them in the right place for you. So if we go over here now, we'll reload this, and hopefully we should have the installation. There we go. So there's Drupal. So that was from here, and it is English. If you're a different language, please do put your language in because it'll make it easier for you to install it. And you can go standard, minimum, demo, food magazine. It's our experimental. When it says it's experimental, that means that they may drop that off at some time. They might not. It's like, depends where Drupal goes. So if you got nothing and you want to play about, try the demo. But for this, we're just going to go standard. And it's going to come up to the database shortly. So I haven't created the database, so let's create a database. I've got a little text document up here. Get yourself one up because it'll be very useful. So we'll go over to here. cPanel. And we will go to MySQL Wizard. And as you can see, yes, this is me. I'm Sembase Core, and I'll just call it Drupal install. Try to name it something that you'll remember, but also take this information here and put it into here. And this way you don't forget what you have there basically. And you just copy and paste this, and then when you're finished with this document you can then save it in a safe place. Then you got next step. We need a username, so that we'll go Drupal video. I'll just call out 1 just so we don't have a duplicate of a duplicate. Copy that and we'll paste it in here, and that was just right at the top, database name. This makes it so easy later on when you need these. Then we'll copy that over and we'll paste it there. Just put that in there and we'll call that user, and then password. Let's just be, well actually I can't be random because I can't put it in there. What I can do for is I can use the password generator, click it a few times to be lucky. Let's copy that. As it says, I've copied this into a safe place. I have. And use password, and there you go, that's generated. Create user. And then here comes the interesting part. So you'll need privileges, so I usually just click all privileges. Next step. And there's the database created. So now we should not have a problem uploading these into Drupal. And we'll paste that there. We'll go, actually we'll just leave that there for a second because we might need it. And then we'll go back here. And now it's got database name, username and password. So what we're going to do is just copy this back over again. In interest guys, sometimes this needs the full colon, sometimes it doesn't. You take that out and we'll soon find out with this whether it needs it or not. But it doesn't always tell you, it'll just say that it's failed. So just so that's there for you so you know. And then finally we'll take that password. And then we'll put that password in there. Then we will save and continue, and hopefully it should work. If not, we've got to hit the send base off, as I say. But no, it's worked, and there you go. Which is absolutely excellent. First time. And it's putting the basic modules in there for you, just to get you started. It's going to come back shortly and it's going to ask for another password. Don't have the same password for your database as you do for your site, because that's not being very secure. Make sure you have a different password. And that is done, I believe. There we go. So whatever you want to call the site, so because this is just a mock-up and it's going to be deleted anyway, but we will call it Drupal video. how to install site email address. We'll just put mine in there. Right now, this is important here. So you've got like admin, you could call it anywhere, but I wouldn't call it admin. I'd call it something. I wouldn't call it your first name either. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kevin X1. Why? Because it's different from the name of the site, and if people are gonna hack your site, they're gonna basically look for the easy ones. So if you add a few characters in there to put people off, it's helping the security a little bit with your website. So paste that, there you go, Kevin X1, save it there. Then this password, again, we will call XSA, few keyboard slashes, AA. That looks pretty rock solid. Very random. We'll copy it. I'll paste it in there. There you go, strong. Make sure you do get that strong. Don't use weak passwords. Never use password 1 or password 2 or password XYZ. Yeah, it's too easy to crack that open. An interest as well, your site email address, always put something that you can get to, because if you ever forget your password, you can put your email in and then you can get the site to basically reset it. Really easy. But if you don't have a password there, it's a lot harder to, because then you're going to have to do it via the database. It's pretty harsh. Then set your time and your zone, etc. So I'm United Kingdom. So UK, London. Check for updates, automatic receive notifications, and Kevin X1, I'll just check that I've put them in there. And this is the Drupal install, and we'll save and continue, and that should be the site installed. Brilliant. Let's have a look. It's called Drupal video how to install. So when it comes up on this lovely next screen, there we go, Drupal video how to install. And as you can see here, you've got all your stuff that you need. You can always add a second admin in here. You can see I'm not admin. I don't put admin because it's too easy for people to get. People can still get it, but it makes it a little bit more difficult if you don't use your defaults. And that's back to your site, and look, there you go. Really easy. That's Drupal ready to go. Obviously there's no very nice theme here, or there's nothing much going on, but that's basically Drupal installed for you. Installing Google Analytics on your Drupal website. Now, there's a new version of this and there is an old version. The old version is of course called Universal Analytics by Google, probably version 3 I believe. And that is the version of this video that I'm going to do today, because it's the older version, and we probably will do a video with the newer version. It's easier to put the older version on than it is, I think, I would say, than to put the newer one. So I'll show you the easy way first. But with a cautionary note, some date and time, Google's probably going to get rid of Universal Analytics and they'll swap it over to the new Analytics. They haven't mentioned that yet, but that's usually what Google does. I think the new Google that Analytics is still actually in beta. So here we go. So this is Drupal. So what you need to do first to get the easiest way to find it, you know, on Drupal, everything's a module. So if we want Google Analytics, we would type in Drupal and then type in Google Analytics, and it's going to bring it up for you. Then once we've got that, we want to look at version control. We're using Drupal 9. I'll show you how to do this because it's quite important for your website anyway. If I bring it over to here, this is your status report. This is in your Drupal website, and it's going to tell you the version that you've got. This is quite important because if you've got a 7.0, you've got to install modules from 7.0. If you've got an 8, sometimes the 9s work because there's not much difference between Drupal 8 and Drupal 9. They're pretty much very similar. So it's 90% chance this module's going to work. There's also a 10% chance it might not, but here we go. This video's made live. And it's much easier to do it live and show people, because then we'll see any of the errors that might come up. But this is your first thing. Check here, see what Drupal version you've got, note it down, then come over here and you're going to basically select one of these. So if you got version 7, you'd be installing this one. If you got Drupal 8, then you want to do this one. You got 2 different versions. This is not quite ready. This is ready. This is still development. And we're going to take this, so we'll copy the link address. We'll go back into the website here. And we'll install new module. And you're going to take that address, just like I showed you in the last thing, and you're going to install that there and go continue. So there you go. The 8 version does work on the 9, which is what I suspected anyway. So let's now go to enable so that we can use it. Always when you install a module, this is a strange thing probably with Drupal, you've got to come back into here and the extend here, and you've got to actually activate it. So we gotta find it first, which is always the fun part. And I think I've gone past it. Here we go. If we can't find it, there's another way to do this, the site which I'm going to jump to. I am blind with my own site, but that's not a problem. I do have a find on here. There you go. So just using the search facility, sometimes it's easier to do that. So we'll just click that down as well. Just to check that there's no dependencies missing. Sometimes when you have a module, it'll not quite work because there's little bits missing. It's going to tell you down here what's missing, and you would install that as well. But here, if we click this here now, go to that, and then now we're going to install it. Yeah, we put it onto the system, but now we've got to like get Drupal to play with it a little bit. And that's just going now. If there's any problems, it's going to come back as well with a problem or a... Yeah, there we go. No problems whatsoever. And that is there, so we should be able to click that down now and we can configure it. I might have to look at the permissions there. Yep, so here we go. So this actual is using the old version of Drupal, which is brilliant because that's the version that I'm going to teach you to install. And we'll just go across there now. Now then, if you come to this screen before here, so what you have to do, type in Google Analytics here, click on Google Analytics, you're going to have to sign in first, make sure you've got a Gmail account, and then it's going to let you, and you just want to add property basically. If you're like me, I can't show you that screen because I've already got Google Analytics installed. It's going to bring you to this screen, in which case you have to come to admin. So just in case people have got it half installed or not half installed, it's really easy to do if you've already got Google Analytics up and running as well. Now, when you set it up, it's quite important here. As you can see here, the modules for Google Analytics Universal, which is the one that we're going to install. But to get that to install, it's really important here, is that you go create a Universal Analytics property only. Because Google Analytics 4 is the new version, and we don't want to do this at the moment. I will do another video later with the newer version, but this version's a lot easier. So we've got that there, and it's basically this little button here. So it's in advanced options, just so people can see everything. And we will now go over here, and we're going to steal this here. We're not going to steal it, we're going to copy it, because that doesn't sound good. There we go. Actually, we've got to take that out, take that off. So the website's HTTPS, create a universal, I didn't give it a property name, and I'm going to call this base Drupal video. And now you can see the next, and click on next. We will say small, obviously. Whatever you size your company, just click on the right things. How do you intend to use Google Analytics? So I would say increase my conversions. You can click any of these you want, or you can click all of them. Let's just click all of them. I don't think it makes much difference. I think it helps Google more than us. But here's a little bit of code for the Google Analytics people. Let's create that. And there we go. We've got a number. You don't need to copy all this. You just need this piece here, which is the tracking ID. So we'll copy that. And now we'll go back to here. Oh, wait there. We've got a, there it is. Need to get the domain as well. And we might have a problem tracking because of course I've got HTTPS and I haven't installed it on the server yet. Send base, we'll do it like that. It's okay. It should work. Paste that in there. A single domain. to selected roles. We don't really want to track the content edit or the administrator because they're not really real users. And we will save that configuration and hopefully that should work. Now that's set up from this side, but what we need to do now is go to the home. And we will go real time. Let's see if we can get this to play. It's not tracking. Let's try it again. I'll tell you why, because we haven't did this. So let's go up here. Check this is saved. It will actually track. It's just, I think why we've got a problem is because it's not secure. We can actually check the source as well, because then we can type in here. We'll just check that the code's there. And that is tag manager. And yeah, if we had the HTTPS, you could go up to the real time and it would work. How do we know that? Because there is our tracking code there. And that's why I was checking that it's installed correctly. The only reason it's not tracking is because I ain't got HTTPS running on this because it's a demo site. And there you go, because the cache is gone and I've saved that on there. Now you can see it. So that is installing Universal Analytics with Google. Hope video's been helpful. See you soon. Installing a full distribution with Drupal. So what is a distribution? What's it all about? It's basically you get everything in a box. It's bigger than just having a module or a theme. It's like everything put together and it makes life really, really easy. So I thought I had to play around a little bit with a few different distributions so I could get one that works nicely, and Commerce Kickstart looks ideal as it's e-commerce out of the box, really, a bit like WooCommerce or Shopify maybe. It's a bit like one of them, except you own it and you host it. So this is what it will look like at the end. And so let's get started. So first of all, I'm gonna go into here. If I have to catch up, there we go. And I'm going to delete everything because I left that just so I could show everyone what it looks like before we get there. So I'm just going to delete them. And we're just going to leave the zip there, which, if you don't know how to get that, let's start right at the beginning. So let's go back to so first of all you need to go to distributions and look for Commerce Kickstart. You download it like a normal module, and then once you've got that, then you upload it to your server like so. There's something really useful here when we've got is that we can actually extract it here, and this saves a lot of time uploading everything. So we'll extract files there, and then it's going to come back with a list of files that it has extracted. That's all good. So what we'll do next is we're going to jump into here. I'll tell you why I'm doing this here. If we leave that folder like that, then the front of your website, you'll have to navigate to that to get to the website basically. So you'll not be on the very front of public HTML, you'll be in a folder. That's not really a great idea. So what we do, make sure, this is always important, if you go into here, just make sure you've got the dot files shown, because if you don't move them you're going to run into quite a few problems. We're going to move them over to public HTML, which is there, and that one there. Just going to move that over to public HTML. There we go. Let's go up one level. Actually, one last check. So nothing left, just checking there. We can actually delete that folder now because we don't need it. So this is the full distribution now, and before we start installing this, what we want to do is go over to our databases, and we'll just delete this old database and username. You can't install Drupal on top of Drupal basically, so if you try to do that it'll come back with an error saying that you've already installed. If you want to reinstall, yeah, so we'll just delete that. There we go. Then we're going to delete this just so it's all out, and then go back. And once that is done, now we can go and create a database, because we need to create a blank database. And I've already saved this. You can put whatever you want in here. It's not, you can kind of lose this and change it, it's not like the worst thing in the world. But you might want to write them down so you don't lose them. Or put them somewhere safe, should I say. It makes life a little bit easier. Paste that in there. Make sure you do have a strong password, because in cPanel usually if you've got a weak one it probably won't let you go to the next step. And then you click on this and you make changes. So that's now our database set up. Our files are on the server and ready. and we'll just check that again. They are all there, everything looks good. So let's go back. And let's go and see if we can get to this now. Oh, one last step before we actually get through this. This is quite important here. I've just remembered, because this will probably baffle you for a little bit. And it is this here. And if it comes up with a memory problem, you change that in here. And you do home directory, and I'll just show you this very quickly. 64 megs probably not going to be enough to get through there, so I've put it up to 198. I tested that before, it worked on 198. Might work on slightly less, but I wouldn't go with 64. It might work on 100, but 198 it definitely works, and I've tested this. So amazingly, here is our distribution now. So easy with distributions. Let's get started. And we need our database, which we just created before there. I can't remember if it needs the full one, because sometimes it needs the full one, sometimes it just needs the extra bit. Really depends on the server. I've done that wrong, I think. No, we haven't. We've done it right. This is also why it's very useful to have these wrote down, so you can basically just take them and copy and paste. And we'll paste that in there. And we'll save and continue. If it's got problems with memory or anything like that, it's going to come up on this screen here before you get very far. It'll actually come back, and this is why I showed you the memory bit here to increase this here. Otherwise it's going to crash halfway through. So because there's a lot to install here, and it'll take quite a while, it'll probably take 20 minutes. I will pause the video here and I'll come right back once this is done. So here we are back now, and the install is finished and everything's working really great. So we'll add an email. We'll leave the password as admin and admin for now. I'm in the United Kingdom, so if you're not in the United Kingdom, obviously don't select United Kingdom. And it's got the right time zone. So we will save and continue. And our default store is going to be United Kingdom, as I'm in the United Kingdom. So functionality here, so if you want to play about with it and have everything ready and set up and kind of working, go with yes. If no, if you want to, because this is great for like testing and looking how it works. But if you actually want to install it for a real shop, then click no, because then you want to set it up right for you. Don't really want to translate, and currency, because we're in England, is Great British Pound. And then we'll just do European and create and finish. And now we will pause again while it installs this, and I'll come back again. Should take around 5 minutes. So this is us back, and the installation has finished. And this is basically what you have once you are fully installed. So what you want to do here, if you're going to play about with this, is first of all, we really don't want all these errors showing up. So what we'll do is switch them off, which is in configuration. And then it is in development, logging and errors. Switch that to none. We'll save that. And there you go, the errors have all disappeared. So you have a full distribution uploaded. And we'll just check this. We'll just check that the errors are off and it is working correct, and there you go, that is a full distribution with Drupal using Commerce Kickstart. Backing up your Drupal 8 website. So you've seen this before. This was the demo site that we created. I've kept this because this is quite a nice little Drupal site to back up and then restore. We'll do a later video for the restore. So before we back up, we're just going to check into the reports, and we're just going to check our recent log messages just to see we've got no red crosses there. And there's nothing like going to get in the way of the backup, basically. That all seems fine to me. There's a few little warnings there, but they're not going to stop the backup, basically. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go into here, we're going to go into performance, and we're going to turn the caches off. The reason I say turn the caches off is because let's say you're backing up and then you had to migrate to another server, and then you have the cache on here. It can get messy, and sometimes you've got to use something like Drush to get in there, or you've got to clear the cache out, and it's a bit of a pain. So the easiest way, take the cache off, save the configuration, and after we've done that, we're going to go clear all the caches. And we'll just wait for the server to catch up here. Should not take long. There we go, cache is cleared. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go back in here again, and we're going to put it into maintenance mode. This is so if anything goes wrong when you're restoring it, basically, you'll be the only one that can log in, and people will see a nice one and it says site's currently under maintenance. So we'll click that, and that puts your site in maintenance. That also helps as well quite a bit, just in case you had people doing things like filling forms out. So we'll go back to the site now. And you can see it's operating in maintenance. So only we can see that basically. So now that part's done. We've cleared the cache. We've checked there's no errors. Now we can actually go and do the backup, which is the main part. So there's two parts here, and it's sometimes confusing to people, sometimes not. You've got a database and you've got a website. So you need the two parts of the website, otherwise it's not going to work. So we're going to jump into PHP My Admin first. This way we can get a hold of the database. And there is our database there. I'll just select it there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to export that. So Drupal install, I've called it Drupal install. SQL, exporting it, and then you press go. And then that will come down here. So that's really easy, really simple. Don't worry too much if you've forgotten the passwords. You can reset them from in here, and if you want a video about that, I can also do a video about that if it was something that you wanted. So we'll go back now because that's that part done. Now the next part, so that's the database, that's one part of the backup, but actually we do need two parts of the backup. Now we need the actual file system, which is here. And we've got a nice little, because we're using cPanel, we've got a nice little backup here. And there is the home directory, so the home directory is the one that we are using. So you would just simply click that. It's going to put in a tar.gzip. Interestingly enough, when you get the numbers on the ends of these backups, don't change them because cPanel doesn't like it whatsoever if you're going to restore it from another server. I'm going to go into this in a second and I'll show you the actual folder structure, and then it'll make a little bit more sense. So that part is doing there now, and that should be down. So now we've got the full home directory and we've got the SQL, and as I promised, we're gonna go into this one. We just let that move up. And we're looking here, so public HTML, so this is where so that is your full backup there. You've got your core, your modules, your profile, sites, themes. You've also got, this is quite important, is that the HT access is there, because then we know it's definitely working. It can get a little bit muddled so basically if you're going to restore it, everything's there. Quickly show you that. So that is the website, and this little file here is your SQL. So that is your Drupal website now fully backed up.